Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2023 Honda Accord Hybrid Touring, finished off in Canyon River Blue. MSRP is just over $38,000. Now this is powered by the 2-liter 4-cylinder with the 1.3 kilowatt lithium ion battery pack. It's also paired to the CVT transmission, pumps out 204 horsepower, 134 pound-feet of torque. That power sent to the front wheels, propelling this 3,500 pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. Top speed is 116 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 12.8 gallons. You'll expect to see around 46 miles per gallon in the city, 41 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 111.4 inches. Its overall length is 195.7. It has a width of 73.3, a height of 57.1, and its ground clearance measures in at 5.3 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this Honda Accord, let's start off with the design for this grille. There's some very crisp points on both ends of it, finished off in gloss black. There's plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling. The Honda badge is also the forward-facing sensor for the distance pacing and adaptive cruise. Now this also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. Very nice thin design for the housings, which match nicely with the design up front. There's a little bit of an indentation there with that trim piece just underneath that. This has sensors up front. There's more cutouts in the lower grille, including some more inlets and those brush trim accents to give it a very nice design. And then a few subtle lines coming down the hood all the way to the points just above the grille there. So a very classic design for this Honda, but it gives it a great look, especially in this blue. Very sporty. Now as we work our way to the side, this model has a set of 19-inch wheels with that two-tone design and the multi-spoke pattern. This has body-colored side mirrors with the turn signal. There's a sunroof up top. It even has the adaptive suspension, and there's some more gloss black in the lower side skirt. So it's in the lower front bumper too, works its way down the side of the vehicle, and then of course to the rear. Now there's also some chrome and gloss black surrounding the window trim there, and then body-colored door handles of course, and some very nice crisp lines that run down the side. Just above the door handles there, a few subtle lines in the lower section. Now in back, there's some curvature in the upper section of the trunk, backup camera, all these sensors, more of that gloss black in that lower diffuser, and of course LED taillights that also have the connector bar that runs right through the trunk. Now you can also remote start this Honda, so let's lock it and then hold this button on the left side, and it will start up. It is the hybrid electric, so you're not going to be able to hear it, of course, but then you can also hold on this to shut it off as needed. So you can basically get your AC, your climate adjustments, everything going and warmed up before you hop into the vehicle. Now you can hold the button on the key fob or the one up underneath in order to open up the trunk where there's a good amount of space. This is a very practical family style sedan, so you have plenty of room. You can even fold down the back seats too. All you need to do is pull the tabs on both ends, and then you have a much more practical interior if you have some larger items. You can also put some items underneath the floor if you'd like to. There's a few toolkits in this one at the moment, but you could probably remove that piece if you needed to place in some more items. And there's also hooks on both sides, so you can place groceries, whatever bags you may have, so they don't roll around. There's also one grab handle on the right side. It's a very lightweight trunk, so it is easy to close. Now as we work our way to the back seats, it is currently locked at the moment, but you can have settings to where you can unlock all 4 doors from the driver door handle. So you can't actually do that from the back door handle itself. But once inside, very nice black leather along with the gloss black trim. There's all the stitching, speaker, a little bit of storage, brushed aluminum on that release handle. This even has heated rear seats too, which is great to see. And that black leather works its way to the back seats. At 5'10", it's easy to hop into the back. Like I said, this is an everyday family style sedan, so it's very easy to enter even for normal sized adults. We have air vents in the middle, 2 USB-Cs, and then I have about a ½ inch or so above my head. So honestly, I could be comfortable riding around town, maybe some short trips. It's definitely doable for 3 people to be in the back. And right in the middle, there's the armrest, 2 cup holders if you need to use those, and plenty of visibility. Pillars are very thin. We have that extra glass there just to provide you with a lot of space. Not that big of a bulge either in the middle. So you have plenty of footwell space there. And then hopping into the driver's seat, Door panel is just like the rear, a little bit more storage down below. All of the window adjustments, side mirror adjustments, even the memory seating controls. Rest of the door panel is identical. And then the power operated front seats have a nice design to them. The lumbar support and everything is located down below. It is just as easy to hop into the front seats. Door opens up very wide too. We are greeted with that nice chime there with the Honda logo. We have the solid black leather steering wheel with some brushed accents. This even has paddle shifters. Even though I mentioned this has the CVT transmission, you can put it into a mode and then utilize the paddle shifters. Let's start this back up though. That power button is located over on the right side, so we can bring everything to life here. And then talk about the controls for the steering wheel. Now on the left side, there's tuning and volume along with Bluetooth. This scrolling dial will go through the gauge cluster. On the right side, there's all the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings, along with the heated steering wheel and another scrolling dial for the other side. So for this gauge cluster, on the far left, there's the battery voltage there. Far right is the fuel level. And then within the screen itself, on the left side, there's the charge and power. Right side, there's miles per hour. Now, using the scrolling dial on the right side of the steering wheel, that corresponds with the right side of the screen. You can go through trip information, there's speed and time there, along with navigation. So you can pull that up in full screen. It doesn't really pick up on camera that well, but it is Google Maps there that has some very good graphics. There's also the driver attention, so you can monitor that. Look at the seatbelt, so if anyone is not buckled. And then maintenance too that you can monitor along with safety support. And then there's a blank page too if you don't want anything to be shown. And then you have a few other settings that you can go into here, just depending on what you would like to see. Even your gauge display, so you can go into that and just view certain items, and then you can easily go back just by going to the back icon. There's power flow too, and then back to range and fuel. Now going to the left side of the gauge cluster, you can pull up your phone, you have Bluetooth, your phone again. You can customize your display too, and then go back. So not as much on that left side, but it's very cool to see the amount of configurations that you can do within the gauge cluster itself. Now on the left side, there's one air vent. There's the trunk release down below, along with the hood release. And then this has the Bose audio. You'll notice one of those speakers. And then for the massive touchscreen infotainment system, on this left side, all of these are fixed, but currently on the home screen, look at all the icons. You have maps, which was shown in the gauge cluster. So this is a larger version. That is exactly how it was displayed on the gauge cluster. You can go into your phone. You also have general settings, your vehicle settings, trip information. You can go through a lot to really configure this the way that you would like to. You can even monitor the power flow with the range until empty, along with your current drive and some live readouts. You'll also notice too, on the far right, this has a split screen, so you're always going to be able to pull up some information on that right side along with going through it on this left side. Now on the far left, there's a back arrow, Google Assistant, map, phone, and your smartphone projection. I believe that you can configure these as needed, just depending on what you would like to see on that side. Now there's a physical button for power and volume for the radio just underneath that. Two more air vents, and you'll notice that the air vent design goes all the way and continues to the passenger side. Just gives it a really nice integration. Underneath that, all the climates are laid out super well. Fan speed is right in the middle, temperature dials on both sides. There's auto sync on and off. This even gets heated and ventilated front seats, so those are labeled well. And then underneath that, recirc defrosters and where you would like the air to go. So again, super simple. Underneath that, two USB-Cs, wireless charging with some extra storage. There's two cup holders on the right side. And then by putting this into reverse, the trigger is in the front. There's the backup camera with the sensors on that right side. You have a few different angles, just depending on what you would like to see. So really good graphics. There's also drive, and then we can go back to park there. Now behind that, there's a few different driving modes. There's eco, I can scroll up to normal, there's sport, and individual. You'll notice that the infotainment system will change too, just depending on that mode. And the last one, there is an E. So if you push on E, that is for the EV mode, of course. So that way you can use that hybrid system instead of using the gas system. Now there's the e-brake with the brake hold just behind that. And then a little bit of storage in the center armrest with a 12 volt down below. Plenty of storage in the glove box too. for additional information. Now up top, there's the sunroof adjustment, dome lights, even a sunglass holder too, which is convenient. The sunshade is manual, so you can easily slide that open and closed. And as far as visibility goes, it's very easy to see in all directions. So definitely it makes for a great daily driver. So as we set off behind the wheel now for the all-new Accord Hybrid, this is a really cool sedan. We just took it on a mini road trip. We're closing in on 500 miles on a single tank, so we haven't filled it up yet. This has been averaging in the mid 40 mile per hour or 40 miles per gallon range. So that is very awesome to see with this mild hybrid system. And the fact that this is under 40 grand, if you're looking for a brand new vehicle that has all of these standard safety features, it's very well equipped for that price. And it even costs less than the average MSRP for a brand new vehicle. This Accord is a really good option. Now in the 3 hours one way and in the 3 hours on the way back, honestly, there's not really many complaints that we could find with this sedan. It's very comfortable. After almost about 3 hours, the seats start to get a little bit uncomfy, but that's a personal preference and how you feel in the seat. It's a very comfortable seat for driving around town and the city. Really nice bolstering support, but it's super comfortable, very, very quiet. And what we've noticed too with the EV part of this hybrid, so this is not a plug-in hybrid, but you have the mode that you can put it into in order to go into the EV. Now it is speed limit restricted, so at 35 miles an hour right now, it will not work. So this is mainly for parking lot situations, getting out of your driveway, things like that. If you're in slow stop and go traffic, I'm going 25 miles an hour right now in the EV setting, you can use it for situations like that. So unlike a plug-in hybrid where you have a higher miles per hour range, this is more for the slower speed situations. When I give it some gas, the engine will kick in, and then you can also utilize that hybrid system for highway driving where it will aid with the engine. So let's say you're cruising, you're up to speed, maybe you're going downhill. The hybrid system will be utilized in those situations to help give you that more efficiency while you're out on the road. Now, being a hybrid, it still has the regenerative braking. So we have the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel like I showed earlier. And if you use the negative paddle and you go all the way to the highest setting, I'm not on the brake pedal right now, and we're coming to a stop. If I use the positive paddle, go all the way up to what I'll call setting 1, and I let my foot off the gas, now we're just coasting. So it depends on how much you want to regenerate that battery, and hopefully that camera can see we are almost up to full there. I'd say maybe 75%. We got it down to 15-20%, what I'll say, out on the highway and driving. So it's a battery that depletes quickly, but it also recharges quickly too. But hopping behind the wheel now for the POV angle, it's a pretty peppy engine. It's not the most powerful, that's not what it's trying to be, but it can adequately get up to speed, merge out on the highway very fine. So for our road trip in this car, it seems to do fine for normal style and daily driving types of driving for this. And behind the wheel now for under 40 grand, it's honestly a really nice sedan. There's plenty of room in the back. It is a larger sedan, so there's really no space issues that we have found, especially putting all of our items in the trunk, in the back seat. It's very, very spacious to make this a good daily driver. Visibility is also really good. Thin pillars up front. It's very easy to see over your left and right shoulder, and it does handle well for this type of vehicle. And so if you're looking for a vehicle that you want to rack up the miles, this is a Honda. You're going to be able to keep this for 10, 15, 20 years and have a very reliable vehicle. So it's definitely something that should be on your radar for the money. Brand new vehicle, all of this tech. The adaptive cruise and the steering works very well out on the highway. So it's a nice system for this. And you just have the creature comforts that you would want in this vehicle. So it's not a basic vehicle, but it has more of a basic price to it, especially in today's market, and the features that you get for this. But that is going to wrap it up for the all-new 2024 Honda Accord Hybrid Touring.
I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.